This is Brian May's Killer Queen solo from Killer Queen. We'll play it through full tempo and then we'll break it down and explain what it's all about. Okay, so let's break this first section down. He's kind of working in the key of D minor-ish here. We're going to be using the D minor pentatonic, but starting from the 5th string as opposed to our normal 6th string starting position. This is one of the 5 positions that you kind of need to know. But let's have a look at the scale anyway. So 5 to 8 on the A string. Over the D string we're on 5 to 7, G string 5 to 7. Across the B string we're looking at 6 to 8, E string 5 to 8. So if you want the notes on the string below, it's 8 and 5 again. Okay, also within that, pentatonics come from the minor scale, so there's a couple of notes that we're missing from that, and they appear on the top 2 strings. On the B string, it's going to be on fret 5, so you're going to get this little passage here, rather than just the pentatonic. And then on the E string, it's appearing here on the 6th fret. Okay, so actually those 2 strings, fret-wise, are exactly the same. Gives us our D minor sound, okay? But within that is that pentatonic. Okay, so first thing, coming in on beat 4, so we're just coming in before the bar starts, so it's 1, 2, 3. Now the first little section there, he's starting on the 8th fret. You've got to let that note breathe for a little bit before you start the bend. And at the top of the bend, we've got a double pick. Okay, next section. Starting on the 8th fret. So this is all on the 8th fret, this first little bit. We're going to start a little run down there from the 8th fret, using the minor scale. Now you can use a pull off there, from 6 to 5 if you want, but I think he picks it. Slow that down. Full speed. Okay, so that's the first section. Okay, second section. Let's just look at that. The real standout thing for me for this little bit is the fact that it's very staccato. Staccato means that you cut the note short. As opposed to those notes are not tenuous there, make them really cheeky. So that na 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 na. Okay, now let's break that down. Again, this is from that minor scale, D minor. Okay, but we're starting here 5th fret up to the 6th fret. Straight down. Now look, use the fingers here. You can stretch these out. Get used to the idea of having this little finger working, okay? Don't let this be a weak point. So let's look at that next section. Down to 8, back up to 5. And then we've got a lovely little phrase here, very common. Pull off. 6 to 5. And resolving, ending up on our D note. Whole section. The first 2 combined. Okay, next section. I think what's happening here is they're going down to a C minor chord. So we're going to take the same principle, same scale. So it's almost like we're shifting key here, but I'm not too certain exactly what the chords are behind that, so don't quote me. Similar sort of thing, but we're going to shift position down the 6th fret. Okay, let's just have a look at that one. So we got another bend. Really get into this bend, and when I mean that, just don't just bend it up. Make the most of that glide up. Okay, so that section. Again, release and play the note on the 6th fret. And again, a little staccato note there on the 3rd fret. And then that little riff again that we played up here. But we're playing down here, 2 frets down. Really good tip here. If you're trying to get to the pitch of a note, it should sound the same as you playing 2 frets higher. So if I'm going from this note, just check yourself out on that one. Hear that pitch. What you don't want, and we want a little bit of vibrato in there. What you don't want vibrato is this. For it to drop down, you've got to oscillate around that pitch. Okay, that's kind of just a normal bend with a vibrato. Just gives it a little bit of sing to it. Okay, another tip, instead of going up 2 frets, when you bend that note up, it should sound the same as 3 frets away on the opposite string. Okay, that's always a good test. Okay, so that's that section. Okay, next section. Okay, let's break that down now. It's coming down the C minor scale, which is the same as our D minor scale, except drop down 2 frets. This is kind of a, think of it as a hickory-dickory. It's played with a shuffle feel, so we're looking at 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of hickory-dickory. Okay? Starting on the 3rd fret of the E string, straight down to the 4th fret, B string, up to the 6th fret, straight, we're skipping out that 4th fret there, and we're going straight to 3. And ending with that same lick as we used on the previous 3 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next beat in the bar. Okay? Once through one more time through full tempo. Now you can hammer or pull off there at the end. Or you can pick it. Up to you, don't worry about it. From there, we end up just playing a single C note, and we're going to slide into it. Okay, let me just show you how that links together. Okay, now we'll look at the next section. Okay, next section. So we've landed on that C, we slid into it. Now he's going to go straight up here to this E flat chord. This comes from this shape, which is an A major shape that we've just slid up in our bar shape. There's our E, create the bar. Okay, but we kind of cheat as guitar players. We can play it with just those 3 notes. Let the bass player play the bass note. He's got nothing else to do. Okay, so from that C. Okay, now just before those 2 stabs, there's a little percussive. Okay, just gives it a little bit more bounce to the rhythm. Hear that? And just get my right hand into view there a second. So instead of just going and hitting those chords, what we do is your hand has to mute off of the actual shape. So we get a little percussive noise. Just adds a little bit more bounce to the rhythm. Okay, so he does that through twice. Now we're going to stay on this chord, but he does this lovely little phrase. Let's explain what he's doing there. He's bouncing off the 8th fret there, below those three. So on the A string, 8th fret, and that's kind of the start of this next little bit. Let's explain what he's doing there. He's going from this E flat shape, then he's going up to this, it's an E dominant 7th, but it's an abbreviation. If we take the shape there, there's a dominant 7th. But he's only playing those 3 notes. Okay, it's a really useful little shape. It's a lazy shape, but it beats playing a full bar chord. And I think you get a better tightness because you're only playing 3 notes there. It's a bit like playing the C shape, like this one, but only using those 3. A lot of rock players use that. Makes it a lot tighter in sound. So you've got, then he goes into this double stop. 10th fret, we take those 2 notes and we move it up a semitone, 1 fret up to 10. Now you've got to be aware that this finger is muting this middle string. So when you play this, you only get those 2 strings. Okay? And then we're going to slide that up to 13. Okay, so let me just walk through that section real slow. Played that pretty badly, but we'll do it again. Got to get those 2 ringing. Like they did the time before, I didn't do that. So. Okay, right, the next bit. So we end up on the 13th fret. Now we're going to keep that note, that C note there on the B string, 13th fret. Okay, next part of the solo. Okay, so that's the next section. Let's just break that down really quickly. Starting from the 13th, we're going to go down to fret 11. Then we're nipping across to the E string. 13, down to 10, hammer on and pull off. I'll play that again. Finishing on the 13th. Okay, that happens twice, but at the end of the second time we don't do this little lick. We go on to something else, so that whole section. And then we're into something new. Now, I think on the album he actually does this instead of... I think he bends this note. Now that's quite tricky. I think he does that, but we can get away with doing. And again, that little staccato. Okay, so that's that part. Okay, next section. So after we've done that, now lovely little run that he does here. This is quite tricky. So I'll slow it down. Now, because this is climbing up a string, you've got to really choose your fingers carefully here, otherwise you're going to be tripping over yourself and end up like that, okay? So we're going, let me just get into that. So 15, hammer on between 12 and 13. Now here's the awkward bit. Pull off 15 to 13, 16 to 15, 18 to 16, and then a bend. So I'll do that slowly. Okay, and you can see the awkwardness there because you're kind of stepping up and trying to do pull-offs. You've really got to choose your fingers right for that one. Personally, yeah, I'm kind of just using these 2 fingers, I think. especially between those two sections there, between 15 and 16 and 18 and 16. I just find that the most comfortable. Go with what you find comfortable. Okay? Nice bend at the end on 18. And try and get that vibrato in that bend. I'll try and play that better for you. Again, I've only just learned this one, so I'm still having trouble with this little bit. It's a little bit better. Okay. Okay, next section. So we've done that little run up. Now, straight after that bend, we're going to come straight down. Okay, let's break that down, do that a bit slower. Oh, so pre-bend, no, sorry, not pre-bend. We're bending up there, release the bend, and play it on the 18th fret. Down to 16, back up to the 18th, crossing over to 15, and finishing on 16. Let me just go through that again. One more time. Okay, now we've got a lovely little section here where he starts with a pre-bend. Pre-bend is exactly what it says on the tin. Pre-bend the string, then you strike the note, and then we're going to drop it. So I'll introduce that to the next bit, add that to the first bit. So little bit of a pull off there to 16, okay? Now, a little bit of a tricky bit. We've got to get to 16 on the string below. Now you can, your choice here. You can preempt it and have that finger ready. So that's the note that we're aiming for. I find it a little bit uncomfortable, especially after this pre-bend. And considering what's coming next, we're actually got to get down to the 15th, and I don't want to put a slide in there. So I'm going to change fingers. I'm going to use my middle finger. So from this pre-bend, got to get that finger out of the way. Okay. Going to then go back to 18. Little bit of a pull off there between 16 and 15. So from the pre-bend, pull off. Back to 18 on the B string, pull off there, okay? Restrike that one. Then hammer on and pull off up to, where am I, 17? Okay, so let's just go through that again slowly, pre-bend. Okay. One more time. Tempo. And then the very last bit. Now this is a lovely little double bend, if you like. Now you don't have to take that right back to the beginning of the bend, right at the bottom. You can kind of do it halfway through. So you kind of pick it, bend it, re-bend it, but you're dropping it down slightly and releasing it. If you did it all the way from the bottom each time, it's too much. Okay, so just very slightly below the pitch there. And then we've got a lovely little country lick at the end. Play that better for you. So let's break that down. What is he doing? Give that note breath at the bottom there. Give it time to breathe before you bend it. And it's what I call the catch. What you're doing is you're taking your little finger, same fret, opposite string on that top E, 18th fret. Keep it ringing. re-strike your pre-bent string. Okay? Classic country little lick. Okay? And then he does this. He dips it down a wee bit and then rebends it without picking. Okay, it's like a little bit of a whistle. Okay? And I kind of liked that clash of notes there. It's kind of a little bit harsh, a little bit rock. Okay? Restrikes that note at that bend and takes it up a further semitone with some vibrato in it. Make that note sing. Again, with the vibrato in midair, you don't want it dropping. Okay, you want it centering around that pitch. Okay? Now, so it's a technique that you may have to practice and practice, and then finally it will happen. So let's just go through that whole of that last section. Okay, that's it. Thank you.